Have you ever wondered what exit and stay interviews are and what kind of impact they can make for your organization? Today, we are launching a new program at Pinstripes and unpacking how that process will unfold. What does that process look like? Let's find out today on Lita's Hospitality HRM Lounge. Episode 4, the launch of the exit and stay interview process. So what are exit interviews? Let's talk about who is involved in an exit interview. First, there is the employee. The employee is a departing employee from the organization who has given their notice to the organization and is either going to work for a different company or going elsewhere. Also, we have the immediate supervisor involved. This is the person who is managing that departing employee and who would have that conversation with the employee. For example, if it is a departing front of house manager, the general manager would be the one doing the exit interview. Or if it's a back of house chef, the executive chef would be doing the exit interview. And if it's a sales manager, the director of sales would be doing the exit interview. And third, let's talk about the purpose. The purpose of exit interviews is to understand why the employee is leaving the organization in the first place. It gives you a chance to learn from any mistakes from the past. And then, what are stay interviews? So let's talk about the people involved in those. The employee is either a new employee, so it's somebody after their initial training once they've had a chance to soak in their job, or it's a current employee. And the supervisor is their immediate supervisor. So for example, again, if this is a front of house manager, the general manager would be doing the stay interview. If it's a back of house chef, it would be the executive chef performing the interview. And the sales manager, it would be the director of sales. The purpose of a stay interview is to understand why the employee is staying at Pinstripes. Also, what is their perspective of the workplace? And it also gives you a chance to avoid recurring problems. So why do these interviews in the first place? Let's talk about the purpose. The purpose is to find any issues. It could be relating to HR, like salary, succession planning, and talent management, or the employee's perception of the work, like job design, working conditions, culture, and peers. It could also gain insight into the manager's leadership styles, like if there's any micromanagement or seeing no change after giving feedback. And it can also solicit ideas to improve the organization, such as marketing, operations, systems, competition, and structure. Secondly, there are some limitations about these interviews. It really does depend on the forthrightness of the current employee. And some feel pressed for time, or they don't really want to explore their feelings, or they don't want to say anything negative about their supervisors. However, there are some benefits of these interviews. It promotes engagement and retention by signaling to the rest of the organization that their views do matter. It also gives the organization a chance to collect, analyze, share data, and follow up with real action to improve the organization. With the launch of this new program, here is the new exit interview questionnaire that will be used by Pinstripes. The questions are purposely broad in order to give the employee room to answer freely and provide their own feedback. There are 10 questions that the supervisor will be asking the employee. What factors contributed to your decision to resign? What might have been done to prevent you from leaving? What makes your new job more attractive than your present job? Would you recommend a friend or a family member to work here? Why or why not? Were your own expectations of the job met? What improvement do you suggest to make this job better, more challenging, and or more interesting? How could your supervisor have helped you more on the job? How would you describe your supervisor's management style? What do you like most about working here? What do you like least about working here? These questions are designed to really prod the employee to see what their perspective of their job, culture, and organization is, and how we can improve the organization moving forward. Next, let's look at the new stay interview questionnaire that will be used by Pinstripes after this launch. There are 10 questions that are on the stay interview form. What do you look forward to each day? Can you tell me about a day within the past year that caused you anxiety or frustration? Can you tell me about a day within the past year that caused you happiness or joy? What can we do to make your job better for you? What are you learning here and what do you want to learn? What kind of talents, interests, or skills do you have that we haven't made the most of? What have you felt good about accomplishing in your job and in your time here? What do you think of the way employees are recognized? What kind of feedback or recognition would you like about your performance that you currently aren't receiving? If you could change one thing about your job, team, or company, what would it be? Again, these questions are purposely broad so that the employee can give ample feedback on their thoughts about their job and their organization. This is a great way to make sure that the employee has room to give feedback on their current position. Next, we will outline the new exit and stay interview process that will be implemented at Pinstripes. There are 5 distinct steps. The first step is that the employee status changes. If this is for an exit interview, this is when the employee gives their notice and it is submitted to accounting and preparation is made for their departure. If this is for a stay interview, this is when the employee reaches either their 90-day mark or an anniversary date. The second step is to schedule the interview. This will be a face-to-face conversation and it will involve the employee and their immediate supervisor. This interview will be scheduled for 1 hour. If this is an exit interview, this will be done after their notice is officially given but prior to their departure. If this is a stay interview, this will be on or around either their 90-day or anniversary date mark. The third step is to conduct the interview. We're going to ensure that this is a blocked out time to minimize distractions and in a quiet room to allow privacy. The supervisor is prepared with the questionnaire and asks each question. The employee is allowed ample time to express their thoughts and answers, and the supervisor can also ask any follow-up questions based on the employee's responses. The supervisor should take detailed notes to capture any specifics. The fourth step is the post-interview. The supervisor scans their notes from the interview to their regional directors. The regional directors then review the interview notes and ask questions if needed for any clarification. And the fifth step is the quarterly review. During the quarterly regional director meeting, all exit and stay interviews are reviewed. If there are any common themes or issues, these are discussed and addressed during the meeting, and a plan is to improve the organization based on the feedback that is discussed. And then after this, the plan is implemented and reviewed again during the next quarterly review meeting. So now that we clarified what exit and stay interviews are, also what the questionnaire questions will look like, and also what that process will look like moving forward, we are now going to discuss how we prepare for launch. There are 3 steps that we will prepare for launch. The first is the rollout meeting. This meeting will involve all managers in the organization, both supervisors and the colleagues that they oversee. This will discuss what the goal is of the exit and stay interviews, and also outline what that process will look like, and also what the provided training will look like as well. The second step is to provide the actual training sessions. All supervisors will undergo a training session and learn how to conduct the exit and stay interviews, and also learn what we are looking for and how to listen to the employee during that conversation. And third is the follow-up. The organization will review all exit and stay interviews and ensure that the quarterly review meetings are centered around these interviews and also follow up on the process so that the organization can make real change in a positive fashion. So in conclusion, exit and stay interviews are important because they provide insight to the employee's perspective on the organization. This also sends a message to everyone in the organization that every employee does have a voice and their perspective is valued. The organization then has a chance to collect, analyze, and learn from the information and create real change in the follow-up. Thank you for tuning in to Lita's Hospitality HRM Lounge, Episode 4, the launch of the exit and stay interview process. We'll see you next time.